Money touches every aspect of our lives, our daily choices, our opportunities, even our peace of mind. Yet for most of us, the classroom never explained its rules. We memorized equations, identified obscure rocks, mapped out wars and revolutions. We graduated knowing how to calculate the area of a hexagon, but unsure how to understand a paycheck, pay off a loan, or chart a course to our goals. It's no wonder so many of us feel as if we're learning money's rules only after we're already playing the game. Let's start with the basics, perhaps the simplest but rarely discussed: how to make a budget. In school, we're taught how to solve problems with clear, logical steps. Yet when it comes to our own money, things can seem blurry, overwhelming, or something to avoid. The truth? Budgeting isn't about restriction, it's about clarity. It's not meant to make you feel guilty over coffee runs or humble bragging about skipping lunch to save pennies. It's a plan, your plan, so you know what's coming in, what's going out, and where you want your money to go. By tracking each dollar, you bring intention to your finances. Without tracking, you're at the mercy of chance and impulse. It's like driving in a new city without a map. You might get somewhere, but you're far more likely to miss your destination or end up lost. Instead, spend an hour, even 30 minutes each week looking over your transactions. Many apps make it easy. Don't judge yourself. Treat it as a fact-finding adventure. Find out where your money already goes, and then decide if that matches your values and goals. That's the magic of budgeting. It's not about restrictions, but about priorities. It's about asking, am I happy with my spending, or should I tell my future dollars a different story? Next, imagine if, back in math class, you'd been handed a formula that could make your money grow, seemingly by magic over time. That's the secret of compound interest, the engine behind nearly every fortune and a devastating weapon if you're not careful. Compound interest is what happens when your money earns money. Interest on your balance, and then more interest on your new, bigger balance. Over years, that growth doesn't climb in a straight line. It curves, growing exponentially. Let's suppose you invest $1,000 at 8% annual interest. After 10 years, it's nearly doubled. After 40 years, it's more than 10 times bigger. The earlier you start, the more dramatic this effect becomes. That's why learning about compound interest sooner can have a life-changing impact, letting your future self benefit from the quiet, steady work your dollars do in the background. In the wrong hands, though, compound interest cuts the other way. High-interest debt grows the amount you owe at a frightening rate, dragging you into spirals that feel impossible to escape. Understanding this invisible force is one of the most important lessons you'll ever encounter, one that textbooks should have shouted from the rooftops. But schools rarely teach us about debt, the different kinds, the long-term costs, or how small decisions compound through interest. Most of us graduate with only a hazy understanding that credit cards exist, that student loans are part of life, and that good credit somehow matters. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Credit is not free money. Every swipe, every loan is a promise. You're borrowing from your future self. When you only pay the minimum on a high-interest credit card, you're penalized, sometimes paying 2 or 3 times the original cost of your purchase. The average credit card interest rate hovers far above 15%. Carry debt, and soon you're working for your bank, not for yourself. That's why understanding your credit score is crucial. It's the number lenders use to decide whether to trust you, a 3-digit summary of your financial habits. Are you reliable? Do you pay on time? Do you avoid maxing out your credit? Your score doesn't define your worth, but it can open or close doors to mortgages, car loans, or even some jobs. Take time to learn how your score is calculated. Pay your bills on time. Don't use all the credit you're offered. And most importantly, see credit for what it is, a tool, not a ticket to freedom. Once you've mastered the basics, your thoughts naturally turn to the future. You want to do more than just stay afloat. You want to invest. Yet, if you only learned about stocks through headlines and movies, you might think investing is a casino, fast trades, shouting traders, dreams won or lost overnight. The truth is much quieter and more powerful. Real investing isn't about timing the market or chasing hot stocks. It's about buying small pieces of actual companies, businesses you believe in that make real products and employ real people. The simplest, and often the strongest, way to do this? Broad-based funds like ETFs or index funds. These instruments let you own hundreds of companies for a single low annual fee, spreading out risk and capturing the long-term growth of the whole economy. Investing is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's about patience, discipline, and letting time plus the power of compound interest work on your behalf. Ignore the hype. Focus on the basics. Consistent investing, even in small amounts, beats reckless speculation nearly every time. Don't let fear or complexity push you away. Use simple investment vehicles. Learn as you go. Your future self will thank you. But your journey doesn't end with investing. You also need to earn more. In school, we focused on grades and projects, rarely on what makes the biggest difference in adult life: your income. The truth is, negotiating your salary is one of the most powerful financial moves you can make. It doesn't just matter in that first job. It compounds through every future raise, bonus, and retirement contribution. Here's what most people never learn until it's too late. Your starting pay and your willingness to negotiate sets a baseline that will shape your income for years to come. Think about that. Just a 5% difference in your salary, negotiated now, can add tens of thousands of dollars to your lifetime earnings. That's why it's vital to research what your skills are worth, prepare your case, and ask for more. Negotiation isn't arrogance or entitlement. It's a conversation. You're not just asking for money, you're demonstrating your value. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when you're afraid you'll seem pushy, practice this skill. If you don't advocate for yourself, nobody else will. But what about building multiple streams of income? In school, the lesson was always about working hard, getting a good job, and moving up the ladder. But the modern world offers more: passive income. This is money you earn outside the 9-to-5 grind, while you sleep, travel, or spend time with loved ones. Passive income streams could include dividends paid by stocks, returns from rental properties, royalties from books or music, or digital products that sell themselves. Or perhaps you start a side hustle, a small business, online store, or freelance gig to complement your salary. The beauty of passive income is its ability to decouple your earning potential from your hours worked. Instead, your ideas, creativity, and investments make money for you. It won't happen overnight, and it won't replace your full-time income at first, but even modest supplemental income can change your financial trajectory. Ask yourself, what skills or assets could you share with the world once that others would value over and over again? Finally, none of this matters unless you understand the psychology of money, your own habits, beliefs, and emotions. Human beings are not naturally rational when it comes to finances. We crave instant gratification. We fear loss far more than we appreciate gain. We look at what others have, and we want it too, even if their Instagram highlight reel has nothing to do with reality. We tell ourselves money scripts, stories we receive from childhood, from our parents and friends and media. We spend to fill emotional needs. We avoid learning about money for fear of what we'll find. Awareness is the first step. Ask yourself, what beliefs about money did you pick up growing up? Are you prone to spur-of-the-moment purchases when you're stressed? Do you delay saving for retirement because it feels so far off? Do you believe you're just not good with money? Recognize your patterns, and remember, you can change them. Education is your toolbox. Reflection is your guide. What can you do today to bridge the gap left by your schooling? Start simple. Pick a topic from this list: budgeting, compound interest, using credit, investment basics, negotiation, passive income, or your money mindset. Read a short book or trusted article. Listen to a podcast episode. Set a micro goal. Create a budget for 1 week. Check your credit score for the first time. Open a beginner-friendly investment account. Or ask one bold question at work. Progress is made of small steps repeated over time. As you take action, remember this: financial literacy is not about deprivation or hoarding. It's about freedom and choice. The more you learn, the more confident you'll feel, and the more opportunities you'll see. sometimes where before you only saw closed doors. Consider the ripple effect that financial mastery can have on your life. When you know how to budget, you live with less daily stress and more joy in your spending. When you harness the power of compound interest on your savings and investments, you create a future with more options. When you understand and respect credit, you avoid the most common financial traps, leaving you room to borrow wisely if and when you choose. When you see investing not as gambling, but as buying little pieces of the world's progress, you take ownership of your future. When you negotiate your worth, you start to close the wage gaps and inequalities that so often hold people back. When you build even one small passive income stream, you create a cushion that supports you in uncertainty or unlocks new possibilities. When you dig deep into your financial habits and beliefs, you put yourself on the path to lasting change. Imagine for a moment your life a year from now. If you started today to fill the gaps school left behind, it might just be a more peaceful weekend knowing your bills are covered. It could be your first emergency fund ready for the unexpected. Perhaps it's seeing your investments grow from the seeds you planted early. It may be extra income from a side project you launched on a whim. Maybe it's the pride and strength that comes from negotiating and being truly paid what you're worth. Or perhaps most valuable of all, it's the confidence that whatever life throws your way, you now have the tools to bend, not break. That's the promise and the responsibility of adult life. The classroom gave you the basics, the stepping stones. Now you continue your own education. Money mastery isn't about being perfect or about knowing all the answers on day one. It's about asking better questions, seeking out knowledge, and applying it step by step in your real life. If today's lesson resonated with you, remember, you're not behind, and it's never too late to learn. Every journey begins with curiosity and one bold action. Financial education is your passport, not just to wealth, but to agency, power, and peace of mind. So as you move forward, reflect on the 7 lessons school skipped, but you won't. Chart your path, seek out mentors and resources, and embrace the process with patience and persistence. The world's most valuable currency is knowledge, applied, practiced, and shared. As you continue your journey, keep this mantra close. Your education didn't end at graduation. Your financial literacy opens doors no classroom ever could. Control your money and you control your story. Your adventure in financial empowerment starts now.